Hi, we're here at MDI High School as part of our Meet the MDI Teacher, and with me is Heather Dillon, who is the Senior Coordinator, Exhibition Coordinator, as well as English teacher and Social Studies, Humanities teacher.
Yes.
Do I have it all?
Yes.
Oh, without notes, too. Who would have guessed? All right. And so tell us, you're teaching sophomore English this year.
Yes.
So what's involved in sophomore English?
So I have an honors English class, and right now we're actually reading a nonfiction book that looks at storytelling and how storytelling impacts people, because our essential question for sophomore year is, how does storytelling inform our lives? And then my plan with that class is to start reading literature and plays and poems that sort of reflect different places in the world. So we'll start with Gilgamesh, which is a Mesopotamian poem, and then we'll move on to Oedipus, which is Greek, and
I read that.
Siddhartha.
Okay.
And so we're going to do a little bit of reading from around the world through that class and look at storytelling from around the world and what that shows us about those places and people and their belief systems. And then as part of the humanities class, I'm the English teacher from that class, so I teach with a social studies teacher. And that's an integrated class where we sort of follow the sort of roots of democracy, Western civilization sort of thing, and I teach literature that correlates with what we're studying historically.
So in terms, I see a little bulletin board up here about the whole idea about, there's so much going on right now between the police and in St. Louis and things of that sort. So you're able to incorporate all of that, but also look back more in terms of a historical timeline as well.
Exactly. So we recently studied about the Romans, and we looked at the fall of the Roman Republic. And then we had the students create a fictional piece where they needed to look at all of the problems that hit Rome and think about what could be some correlating things going on in our society that could get so bad that our society could fall. And so just to help them to make those connections and look at why we're studying what we're studying. You know, it's not just something boring, but it actually is meaningful.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and you're also the Senior Exhibition Coordinator.
Yes.
And I don't know how many people know about the senior exhibitions. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about that and how that all works?
So it's a program that we've been doing for about 10 years now, and all seniors are required to investigate something that is of interest to them, and they need to have a mentor that they spend at least 5 hours with related to that topic. And they do an investigation where they actually come up with a question that they're going to answer based on their mentor and the research that they do. And there is a class offered that we encourage most of the students to take. It's an 18-week long class that meets every other day, where a teacher guides them through the process. They have to have a project proposal, and they have to do written reflections, and like I said, meet with their mentor. And we have a wide range of projects that kids do. I've got kids that do different art forms, glass blowing or jewelry making or other sorts of things like that. And I have students that do skydiving. I have students that do rock climbing. You know, it's the possibilities are endless. And they also have the opportunity to apply for a grant that's offered through the MDI Educational Enhancement Fund.
Oh, really?
And so they can apply for up to $500 to, if there are certain materials that they need to, be able to do this project effectively, or if there's some sort of class that they want to take. I had a student take flying lessons last semester. So it's really, I always tell them, a lot of them like to do something career-related or explore something that might be career-related so they can decide if they really want to do it. But I also say, I'm in my 40s, and nobody ever gave me 18 weeks and $500 to do whatever you want to do with it. So look at this as an opportunity to explore something you might never get a chance to do again.
When I went to college, I went to Middlebury College, and they have a winter term where you take one class, and it's pass-fail. So what they encourage people to do is really go outside of your boundaries.
Yeah.
And learn something new, do something differently. I mean, the classes meet almost like every day. I actually learned Portuguese from Spanish in one of the winter terms.
Cool.
And but there was juggling. There was all sorts of things that people could do. And you think, oh my God, you're going to college to learn how to juggle. But these people really knew how to juggle at the end of the semester. And again, there was that whole process, similar to like the Senior X.
Right. And then at the end, there's a festival where students present their projects to panels that are made up of community members, faculty members, and students. So. And
I was going to be a faculty member until I got sick.
Right.
But you're looking for community members.
Yes. Yep. So our next Senior X Festival will be May 22nd.
Count me in.
Okay. And so I'll be sending out, there'll be information in the newspaper and online and whatnot, and so if people are interested in being panelists, it's painless. You're part of this big panel. The teachers lead the process, but you're given a rubric where you decide, does the student meet the standards, or do they still need to do a little bit more work to meet the standards? Nobody fails. We have an action plan committee that works with students to finish up whatever they weren't quite done with to meet standards in the rubric.
But I was amazed at the rubric. I mean, it was really involved. Did they ask the question? Did they solve the question? Did they take you through the whole process? I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been here now 17 years.
Yes.
And you went to college where?
UMaine.
UMaine, okay. And then went out west.
I did.
For a year.
I did, yep. I was a student teacher in Dover-Foxcroft, and the principal of the school where I was student teaching had a friend that was a principal out in Silver Springs, Nevada, and he was looking for teachers. And so I was 21 and thought, sure, I'll go out west. So I taught 6th grade English. That was my first teaching job. And then my mom was ill, so I had to come back to the East Coast.
So you came back from there to here. And you've been here ever since.
I have, yep.
So 17 years here.
At this high school, yep. But in between, I worked at the YMCA for a little while in the Kinder Friends program and substitute taught until I got my foot in the door to get a teaching position here. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And we were talking off camera, you've got 2 daughters, one of who is a senior here.
Yes, yep. And
that's going to be nice and also challenging at the same time.
Yeah, for the most part it's been nice though, and it's been, it was nice to lead her through the process of coming to the high school, and she's very artistic. She loves theater and dance and performance and hands-on art, and so I knew this was going to be a great school for her. And now, she's going through the whole applying for college process, and that's all new to me. And so it's nice for me to learn about that so that now, as an advisor, I can give my students more information about what to do or what to look for. And so I'd say it's been much more of a good experience to have her here than bad. I'm actually dreading her graduating and not being here with me anymore.
Where is she going to go?
She's looking into a few different schools. She's hoping to go to school for dance, so she's applied at schools that have good dance programs. Her #1 choice is Boston Conservatory. It's very competitive, but it's good to have reach.
Tough though to be that far away after being at school.
Right, and that's her closest school that she's applied at. Yeah.
Well, I have a son that's in law school at the University of South Dakota.
Wow.
So it just is.
At least we have Facebook and all those things now.
Exactly. A lot different from when I was going to school, and you had the payphone in the hallway. And
right. Right. And you talked once a week.
Right. And now everybody talks a payphone. It's like, what the heck is that? Exactly. You'd be studying that in history soon.
Right.
And then you have a daughter that's at Connors Emerson School.
Yep. She's in the 4th grade. She's 10. And yeah, she's just a completely different kid than her sister. I mean, they're alike in a lot of ways, but she's much more outgoing, and my older daughter Flannery is a little bit shyer, or was when she was younger. So it's nice to have 2 completely different children. And Molly's been in the news around here lately because we were working to raise money to get her a diabetes alert dog. And so that dog is supposed to be, we got the money, we're all done with the fundraising, and the dog should be here in early March. So
she has diabetes, and so this is to tell her that she needs to take insulin, and
it's so the dogs are trained through scent, through her saliva, to smell if her blood sugar is getting too high or dropping too low also. And that was more of the issue. She doesn't sense it when her blood sugar is getting low, and so a lot of times it'll be really low before she even is aware of it.
Right. I've got diabetes, and learning the whole thing, and it's a opinion. I mean, what you can eat, what you're not supposed to eat. And
Right.
unfortunately, I don't often listen. But I mean, and I've never been too low. It's more the case of being too high. And
Yeah.
So what's the dog is on its way, you said?
Yep, she's being trained in Oklahoma, and he's just trying to figure out when it works in his schedule, really, to get her up here now. So
that'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have any other? Well, I mean, and the dog isn't necessarily. I mean, it's not a pet because it's a service dog.
Right.
But will live with with Molly forever.
Right. Right, and we do have another dog, little toy poodle. I'm sure he's not going to like having to share his family, but.
What's the best thing about working here at MDI High School?
The kids. The kids. I love the kids. You know, I mean, summer breaks, great, but I miss them. I love the energy that they bring, and I love spending time with them, and I feel like the students here keep me young. So, yeah, that's my favorite part of working here is the kids.
What do you do during the summer?
I have done various jobs. Right now I mostly have a cleaning job. I work for some summer people and clean their house. So, and some, there's always schoolwork to be doing, always planning and thinking about what I'm going to be teaching next.
People think that, teachers work, it's at 7:30 to 2:30. Right. It's everything but that. Right.
It's not, I mean, I'm thinking in the shower, I'm thinking as I'm falling asleep, or I go to a movie and I think, oh, that would be a great thing to use in my class. I'm always thinking about how I can make what I teach better. But the hardest part for me is the correcting. So it's just like for the kids, I think, that have a hard time getting started on a project or a paper, to force myself to sit down and get that correcting done. That's my biggest challenge.
And correcting's a lot of work because, I mean, now with the whole change in education, it's not just marking X and ticking it correct. We got to get the student to understand, so there's correcting more than once.
Right, and meaningful feedback so that they know what they're not doing right so they can try to fix it the next time. Yeah, but it goes along with it.
What's your favorite food?
Italian. I love Italian.
Okay, so then you were telling us that you've led trips to Italy.
I have, yeah. So, oh gosh, now I don't remember what year. 2012 was the first time I led a trip. I took a group of about 33 students to Athens and Rome. And then I was hooked on the travel thing. And so I booked a trip right away with the company that I used, and I took about 35 students last April just to Italy. So we went from Rome and we traveled down into the south of Italy and into Sicily. And yeah, it was fantastic. So I love it. I've decided that's where I'm going to retire, is Sicily. So
when's the next trip? I mean, is there?
I'm not leading one the next time. Beth Blugerman, who teaches social studies here, she chaperoned my last trip, and she said, "If you want a break from leading, I'd love to lead a trip." And I said, "As long as I can chaperone."
There you go. So. It's the best of both worlds.
Exactly. So
you don't have to worry about being in charge.
Right.
You just go and supervise.
Exactly, and I can be helpful to her, and so we're going to England next April.
Oh, that's someplace I'd love to go.
Yeah, so I don't know why I've never done it before. It took me until, I was 40 to go, hey, there are these opportunities to take kids to travel, and they're great. I cannot tell you how well behaved our students are on these trips. I mean, at the hotels that we stay at and the tour directors, they always are telling me, we've never had such well-behaved students. I mean, it's their families and our community, we raise kids that know how to behave in other places. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on with the basketball, the football team, and soccer team, baseball team, but, I mean, MDI kids are special.
They are, yeah. I'm so proud of them every time I take them places. So.
All right, here's the toughest question. What's the one thing you're going to share now that nobody knows that you're going to tell everybody right now?
Nobody knows.
That nobody knows, or not many people know.
Not many people know. I'm pretty open, so.
What's the hidden thing about Heather?
Hidden thing about Heather. I don't know.
Is some secret vice?
Some secret advice. I really don't know.
What do you like to read? What do you like to watch TV?
Oh, I like to watch. All right, I like to watch scary things. I like gory, scary stuff, and I think that's surprising.
Gory, scary
I think that's surprising to people
Ugh.
because I tend to have this sort of persona of being like the sweet, nice, nurturing, loving teacher, and so when they find out
Friday the 13th,
yeah,
with all the bloodshed, you're into that.
Right, or like American Horror Story. I'm watching that right now, and I love the dark, twisted sort of
Stephen King
stuff.
type thing.
Yeah, Stephen King. Yeah, so.
Pennywise.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate scary movies. I do. I'm like, you know, people say, well, let's go into this haunted house. And I'm like, why?
Why would you want to be scared?
Why exactly?
Yeah.
Why do I want to go in there and get scared and have my heart racing? And why?
I'm also fascinated by like the history of medicine and just that sort of, I mean, I know it's disturbing and disgusting, but at the same time I'm fascinated by it. Or like in history, some of the terrible ways people tortured one another. I don't know.
No, well, that's a lot. We thank you for sharing. All right. What do you want to tell everybody about MDI High School and about English? And the camera's yours for a second.
Okay. MDI High School is a great place to work. And I think having talked to a lot of teachers from other places, I feel really lucky to be here, and I think our students should feel lucky to be here because we have a lot of things that a lot of students in other places just don't get, and materials and really anything we want we are able to get reasonably. So it's an incredible place, and I'll be here till I retire.
And head to Sicily.
That's right.
To go get scared.
I'm going to head to Sicily, and I'm going to be a tour guide. That's my plan.
And take you into all the scary places.
That's right, the catacombs, and yeah.
Excellent. All right, that's this week, Meeting the MDI Teacher, Heather Dillon. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out all the other videos we have on our YouTube channel. And be sure to subscribe so that way you're notified every time we upload one. Thanks.